This is a Sports Catastrophe production. Hey there, Heather, ho there, it's Jeff Carter. Welcome you to another Sports Catastrophe Birthday Boy. And the birthday boy for today, December the 13th, is a legendary player who played for the Montreal Canadiens and became a coach and executive for the North Stars/Stars organization. He went back to Montreal to be GM for 7 years. He's a team consultant for the Blues and a senior advisor for the Peterborough Petes. Inducted to the Hockey Hall of Fame in 1992, and one of the greatest 100 players of all time, he is Bob Gainey. Bob Gainey began his career with Peterborough of the OHL. He didn't score a lot, but he would shut down opposing players. And shockingly, in 1973, he was drafted 8th overall by the Montreal Canadiens. Now, the WHA drafted him 7th overall by the Minnesota Fighting Saints, but he never joined the WHA. Why would you? The first pick of the 73 draft was Danny Potvin. The others needed him. Atlanta ended up getting the second pick through a series of trades and got Tom Lysiak. Vancouver went with Dennis Fairgard. Toronto went with Lanny McDonald, smart move. St. Louis went with John Davidson, as Montreal traded away that pick via Atlanta. So John Davidson to St. Louis, although he didn't work out in St. Louis, he worked out with the Rangers more so. Andre Savard went to Boston. Blaine Stoughton went to Pittsburgh, and then Bob Gainey to Montreal. A lot of people were like, what the heck? So basically, St. Louis and Montreal traded picks. St. Louis traded their 8th pick to Montreal for Montreal's 5th pick. St. Louis came out easy with John Davidson, although he would be a star for another team, like I said. But Bob Gainey was great and all that. So Montreal made a lot of trades and all that. But they got Bob Gainey. It was a defensive style of play. And because of that, he was picked. He was made the second. He moved up to the second line of the Habs with Cournoyer and Lemaire. The top line of Shutt, Lafleur, and I don't know who the other guy is. I would say Cournoyer, but I'm not right. Anyway, regardless of that, Bob Gainey was part of the 76 Canada Cup team that won the inaugural Canada Cup tournament. As Canada beat the Czech Republic, ironically, at the Forum. Gainey played for Montreal for many years. He was an icon, winning 4 consecutive Selke trophies for the best defensive forward. He was basically the Pavel Datsyuk of his day. And he helped the Habs win 4 Stanley Cups from 76 to 79. And he was named MVP of the 79 tournament, so he got Conn Smythe. Gainey was made captain after Savard retired. However, the Habs seemed to have great regular season success, but in the playoffs, they fumbled and all that. The weird thing is that the Habs had a terrible regular season in 1984, yet they still waded to the conference finals and actually were halfway home to a Stanley Cup date, as they were up 2-0 on the New York Islanders. But the Islanders took them out in the next 4 games. Gainey would help the Habs win the 86 Stanley Cup against the Flames, and the 86 squad really had a lot of rookies. All that. He scored 10 points. Gainey's leadership helped Montreal do well. And after Montreal lost Game 6 to the Calgary Flames, at the Forum, at all places, Gainey decided to retire. Gainey played over 1,100 games, 239 goals and 263 assists, being in the Hall of Fame. 92. Now, after hockey, he moved to France to be player coach for a French squad. It was a stir for the French hockey scene and all that. He would help France do well. His French team do well. Unfortunately for the French squad, he left a year later to go back to North America to become coach of the Minnesota North Stars. And that 1991 season was a mess for the North Stars. Fans weren't coming out to the games. The team was a mess. But somehow, in some way, Minnesota went up the ladder to take 4th place in the North Division and get themselves a playoff spot. Although it would be easy because the North notoriously was known for terrible teams getting that 4th and final spot to make the playoffs. Remember, top 4 teams in each division moved on to the playoffs. And the Leafs were just shit in 91. So the North Stars got in. But shockingly, they took out the Chicago Blackhawks. I mean, the previous season, the North Stars actually sent Chicago reeling, forcing them to a Game 7, which Chicago won. But still, the Minnesota North Stars beat the Blackhawks in 6 games. And the Blackhawks were the best team in the NHL. Let's not forget that. The North Stars moved on to face St. Louis, the second best team in the NHL by points. And they beat them too. They beat Brett Hall and about Ayal. The North Stars even beat the Oilers, the defending Stanley Cup champions, in the conference finals, leading them to the Stanley Cup finals against the Pittsburgh Penguins, another team that was supposed to not make it because they were third in the division. Minnesota even had a 2-1 lead on the Penguins. Unfortunately, they got blown out in the next 3 games, especially 8-0 in Game 6. The record for biggest differential in a Stanley Cup clinching game. But man, that was amazing. Gainey was made GM in 92, and then he still was around the organization when he moved to Dallas. He was pretty good. In 96, he would decide to step down as head coach to be a GM. And he did pretty good as GM of the Stars. He turned the franchise into a powerhouse, getting Joe Newendike, Brett Hall, Ed Belfour, and Sergei Zubov. The team won 2 President's Trophy, but one of them was a Stanley Cup win in 99. Bob Gainey even drafted his son Steve in the NHL draft, 77th overall, as Stars general manager. Gainey was trying to help Canada's men's hockey team in the 98 Winter Olympics, trying to select the squad, but that failed miserably. After stepping down from Dallas, he became GM of the Habs in 2003. He would fire Claude Julien in January 2006 to step in on a head coach as an interim basis. And then he decided to hire Guy Carbonneau to be an associate coach, with the understanding Carbonneau would be the head coach in 2006-07. Decent season happened, and Carbonneau did well. Gainey's number 23 was returned on February 23rd, 2008. Gainey again named himself the interim coach after firing Carbonneau in March of 2009. And in June 2009, he actually signed Jacques Martin as the new head coach. And he resigned as GM for personal reasons in 2010 and was succeeded by Pierre Gauthier. The Habs were not that good. He was a consultant until 2012 when he stepped down from Montreal duties. He was made a team consultant for Dallas in 2012, and then after a few years for Dallas, he was St. Louis as a team consultant, and he's still there to this day. So, yeah. 4-time Selke winner, 78, 79, 80, 81. 4 All-Star games. Conn Smythe champion, 79. 5 Stanley Cups as a player, and 1 as a GM. Well, GM being the Stars, and the 5 with the Habs, 76, 77, 78, 79, and 86. Inducted Hockey of Fame. His number 23 is retired. Decent numbers. Not really offensive numbers, but, it doesn't matter. Bob Gainey won 194 games in his coaching career, 211 losses and 60 ties. So, yeah. The problem for Gainey in his 8 seasons as head coach is that only once after 91 he got the team out of the first round, and that was 94 for Dallas. Bob and his wife Kathy gave birth to 4 kids, which is funny because we got only one son, which was Steve, who was drafted in the 97 draft by Gainey. His 3 daughters include one of them who's the president of the Liberal Party of Canada. Really? So anyway, unfortunately for Gainey, he had a lot of problems in his personal life. His wife Kathy died of brain cancer at the age of 39. Yikes. Gainey's daughter Laura died at 25 in 2006 when she was sailing in the North Atlantic, but was swept overboard. Laura's body was never recovered. All that. Of course, there were a lot of problems to do with the tall ships and all that, about the safety concerns. So there was a lot of problems with that field of work. But Bob Gainey was an icon for the Habs And don't you forget it. Even though he wasn't an offensive scorer, he was a defensive forward, and he was a piece of the Montreal puzzle. Anyway, I'm drop diving. I do.